You know, recently I got an email off somebody asking me if I had any sources as to how I speak about Hecate in my videos. Since there are a lot of people out there, and I've mentioned it before, but they speak about her in a dark manner and focus only really on her darker aspects and her darker attitude to some things. And that is prevalent within witchcraft and the occult. But they asked me if I had any sources to back up, I suppose, what I believe. I'm going to explain a few things. I'm going to explain why I believe what I believe and where it comes from, etc. So let's get into it. Now, welcome and welcome back. It's Sarah, that divination witch. I hope you're well. I hope you stick around. It's a safe space here. You can ask questions, ask away. Nothing silly. Everyone's different. Everyone starts somewhere. This is a safe space, a community that I've set up to help you guys and for you to help each other as well. If you like that kind of thing, you know what to do. Hit subscribe. And if you want to support the channel further, I've got links below. I do offer readings, of course. I've got a website, etc. I've also got Patreon, where this year, we are embarking on the year of the Dark Goddess. So we're talking about different aspects of the Dark Goddess and stepping into our power. So if you're interested, check that out. I talk about Hecate in a way that not many people do, I suppose, in a public sense. Although, having interacted with so many of you, I feel she's brought a lot of you to me, to be quite truthful. A lot of you guys see her in the same way I do. Even my best friend who's been on the channel, Lauren, Hecate brought she and I together, and she sees her in a similar way that I do. So there are people out there who see Hecate in this way, and this way being a loving mother type energy. Now, over the years, when I first started with Hecate, I just thought, oh, she's the witchcraft goddess. Felt drawn to her because I was drawn to witchcraft. Thought nothing more of it, sort of thing. But she has taught me things and is still teaching me things over the years about who she is, who I am as well. And I've come to realise she is not just a witchcraft goddess. She's a goddess of many things. She is basically a face of the divine feminine. And therefore, because the divine feminine is our mother, no matter who you are, the divine feminine is the creator energy. She is a mother. And her approach to me, at least, is very motherly, but firm mother. She isn't always lovey-dovey, but she can be. This is kind of personal, but ages ago, but I was doing shadow work with her, regressed her in a child state, and she held me while I was crying, like a mother would hold their child, you know. And when I say held, it's not like she manifested physically. It was an emotional hug. That's what it felt like through my senses. So she does have that compassionate, nurturing and caring side, but she's tough love, and if you're not going to listen, or if you're going to be rude and disrespectful, she's going to hand your ass to you. You know, it's discipline. I call it discipline. Call it what you want, but it's that kind of attitude. Now, what I share on the channel is a lot of my personal experience, and I feel it's Hecate who's led me to do this, because of how she's painted all the time in very strict manners of being this dark woman and you've got to do this, otherwise she's going to get angry, you're going to pee her off, all this stuff. And look, she can get angry, she can get vengeful, but it's not as common as these people have you think, basically. She doesn't do it unjustified because she's above all of this. She is so ancient and primordial. What's the point? Because a lot of what I share is my personal experience, and I say when it is my personal experience that it is either my experience or UPG, which is unverified personal gnosis. Some of it may be shared personal gnosis in the end, but at the time, it's what I'm thinking, it's what I'm feeling, it's what I'm experiencing. But if you want to boil it down to context, if you look at history about Hecate, and I'm not talking somebody's modern grimoire on her. I have filmed a video, books on Hecate, which I don't know if it's out yet or not, but there'll be some in there. Go check it out. But I'm not talking somebody's path with her. When I say that, I mean someone like Jack Grail, for example. Nothing against Jack Grail. The Hecateon is a path working to Hecate. I'm not talking about that. Yes, there's some historic context in it, but I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about, that kind of thing. I'm talking about, look at her history. Who was she in antiquity? She being Hecate had so many epithets, okay? Hundreds of them. Go Google it. You can find it. You can find people have listed it on Google. Her epithets ranged from one's, I forgot the name of it, but it's called filth eater. There's the different Greek names, of course, but one's like filth eater. And then another one is like the child bearer. Like, you've got light ones and you've got dark ones and everything in between. She does everything. She's so powerful and so primordial that she's everything. So my experience, if you want a reference, is even just look at that. People invoked her, called on her to protect their home, the oikos. That was your everyday people. She was a protector of the innocent. And I think, to be quite honest, in the modern sense anyways, I don't know if a lot of her dark imagery comes from people looking at the fact that she was chthonic, or I can never say that properly, that word, like a primordial deity, and that they're just looking at the dark nature of things for a few reasons. Some could be ego, because some people are drawn to it through ego, drawn to demonology through the ego. Not everyone, of course not, but some people are. So it could be that, could be a bit of that. But it could also be because it's like, it's cooler as well. Like, I know that might sound silly, but it's a subconscious thing. Like, oh, she's edgy. Oh, she's cool. In the modern sense, I'm talking. But I feel as well it's because she is the ruler over the liminal space, the spooky and mysterious, the restless dead. She gets this reputation because that's not an easy job, basically, to rule over the restless dead, people who don't want to move over, people who are awful, some of them, not all of them, but some are like people who have committed horrible crimes and stuff. She's dealing with some nasty people sometimes, so she's going to have to be tough and scary and stuff. So I think that influences a lot of stuff. But then on the same side, well, not the same side, the flip side, she does that for new souls and reincarnating souls, being born, being a midwifery goddess and a protector of women in childbirth. What she is doing in that case, like how she ferries the dead to the afterlife, she ferries the souls to the life, to the living realm. That's not as spoke about as much. And I think it's as well because that kind of love and light vibe, she doesn't really fit well with it all the time. As in, when you get these new ages, and look, no offense, you do you, but when it's they make angels all fluffy, you can't really make Hecate fluffy. All right, you can make Michael fluffy. I know he's not fluffy, he's a warrior. Michael is a bloody warrior, and you don't want to be on his bad side. But he doesn't have a darkness about him. Hecate does. So you can't really fluff her up like that. You get me? So I speak about her. I suppose some people would call it fluffy, but I'm very much in the middle. I would class myself left-hand path, to be honest, because of my philosophies and also the beings I've worked with. I've worked with demons. So what? I don't see them as evil beings. They are gods. They are ancient, old gods. That's how I see them, but each their own. But I've also worked with light beings too, and deities and beings that you would class as fluffy, I suppose. Like Frigg, for example. She can be a badass warrior, given the culture she's from. She's a warrior queen. But she's also motherhood and love, nurturing, compassion, kindness, care, healing sort of energy. You wouldn't say that she's like a dark mother. You would just say she's a mother, normally. So it's all about perspective. So therefore, one of my sources is look at history and look at as well the source for her being the creator of everything, not just her epithets. All right, because why would a deity that's so important have so many epithets? There are others that have so many epithets too. Don't get me wrong. I feel like their base energy sort of thing is the divine feminine. And then that can branch off to whoever you need, like the face you need. And then the epithets of that being, it's very complex. But ultimately, it's the divine feminine. So look at the Chaldean oracles. I believe Esoterica recently put a video out about it on YouTube. Go check it out. If you can't be bothered to read a book or you don't like reading, go check that out. They cite Hecate as a creator of everything in that philosophy. So it is kind of historical context on that front too. We can all have our own opinions and our own feelings and thoughts about Hecate. And I would never force somebody to conform to a certain view. If you want to see her as a dark being, do it. Do what you want. Because I know Hecate herself does not care about labels. But you can't deny, even if you want to see her as that and work with her and worship her as that, mostly, you can't deny her history and that she was more than that. Now, there are certain path workings out there that I don't gel with, but each their own, get on with it. I don't think a lot of them come from a very balanced place. I'm being truthful, and it's more than one person who's created these things, but each to their own. I've also seen it as well, and this would be a red flag for me, where somebody was teaching how to connect with Hecate in their own way, which fair enough, that's your practice. But when you're teaching other people, I think you open yourself up for criticism. The same with me. Not everyone agrees with me. But what I didn't agree with was when they were telling people to visualize Hecate, to connect with her, they were forcing their own image on Hecate, as in you must see her as this way only, and if you see her as anything else, then you've got to retrain your brain, sort of thing. And I feel like the feeling of that was to strengthen the connection, but in reality Hecate doesn't work like that. She can come to you as a triple-faced lady. She can come to you as a beautiful maiden. She can come to you cloaked and hooded. She can look like a crone. She can look like a shadow. She can look like anything. She's a shapeshifter. A lot of spirits are, and deities especially. Sometimes she looks at you through the eyes of animals. Sometimes she doesn't even make herself known because she's from the liminal space and she works from afar. She's just there and you don't even know. There is no one right way to experience Hecate. A lot of the time I see her looking a little bit like Morticia Addams. For the longest time I never even saw her face because I would just see a hooded figure. When she appeared to me as Trivia, which I've got a video about that, go check it out. It's in the Hecate playlist on the channel. It's called When Hecate Catfished Me. But her Trivia aspect, which was around in Roman times, she appeared more like a queen. She even had a crown and everything. So she can appear as what she needs to appear as, essentially. That's how it works because, I might be working with Trivia one day and then, I don't know, a year later, it could be a different side of Hecate, So, yeah, I hope this has answered the question when it's about sources. I think a lot of people ask that because of misinformation online, and I get it, because there's some bullshit spread online, especially about Hecate. But when it comes to spirituality, what I want to say is not everything you're going to learn is going to be in a book. My teacher's Hecate. Now, everyone's different in what your path is. Some people find they need organised religion. Some people may need a path working that somebody else has channeled or came up with. Somebody else may need organisation or go through courses or, seminars and things like this. There's nothing wrong with that. But ultimately, my magic teacher, I've never had a high priestess to answer to. Everyone's different, I've never had that, and I don't want that. Hecate is my high priestess. Hecate is my teacher, as well as a mother. And everything I have learned has been through her. Through my gifts, being able to be intuitive with her. She teaches me magic. She teaches me everything I need to know. And guides me to what I need to know. Sometimes I may have a book on something, but she's guided me to this thing to learn about something. Sometimes I'm whipping up a spell and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to use this herb and this colour candle and do this particular action because it means this. And, this time I'm going to petition her, or this time, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something else. It all depends on the mood, on what I need, on what she tells me as well. So not all the time are you going to find people are able to say, all right, yes, I got this from this book by Cindy Brannan, for example. No. We have a lot of shared experiences, and there is argument out there that a lot of grimoires, a lot of things that we kind of take for granted now were always once somebody's personal gnosis. Like the Lesser Key of Solomon, for example, that was someone's personal gnosis once, and fair enough it was, but now it's a historical text. It's complex. There's a fine line in a way, but not every book is credible either, especially in the world of AI. Someone could just get ChatGPT to write a book. I'm not even joking. I've illustrated that on the channel. Not every source is credible. So it's hard to say stuff like that when it comes to spirituality as well, because everyone's also got different opinions, and different beliefs. But I hope that helped. I hope it answered the question. If there's anything else you want to know, put it in the comments. Help each other out as well. If you want to know more about Hecate, I've got a whole playlist about her on the channel. Go check that out. If you made it this far, you may as well hit subscribe. And until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.